Good afternoon, Jan.
Good afternoon, Michael. How are you doing?
Doing well, doing well. Yeah, things are really busy. Yeah, first of all, around work, we're trying to do a release of the system. Um, but yeah, also around Janaga and this factual MCP server. Yeah, this is exciting stuff. I'm looking forward to shipping this.
Okay. Oh, on my side, I managed to download all the YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
That was harder than I expected.
Oh.
YouTube was not so happy about
Hmm.
it. So every time they blocked. But as you said, by every time adapting, and finally I managed to download all of them. I think in one night.
Oh wow.
I
Okay.
could agree. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it was 270 videos or something like that. Um, but then the real story at the beginning of the week, my daughter sent me a message. She's still a student, and so they rented a small apartment together with one of my sons.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the first summer they are in there, and for the moment it's quite hot over here.
Mm.
So, Daddy, I need an aircon because they rent the apartment, so they want a portable aircon.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, there's so much choice. What do I need to buy? Yeah, what do you need to buy? I say, okay, let's see ChatGPT. Make me an overview.
Mm-hmm.
Wordless, wordless. So then
Oh.
I thought, do what Michael tells me. Be systematic. Make use a cursor. Make it think like a scientist. But then I got carried away by it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, if I count my time, I should have just bought the most expensive aircon. Economically, that was the best solution.
Mm.
But it was a very nice journey because in the beginning I just told it, look, these web shops give me an overview of all the air conditionings.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't work at all. And
Hmm.
so finally, but some web shops they block access. They have all kinds of procedures to avoid scraping.
Yeah.
Um, and so I went through a lot of different iterations, and there you see that AI is really favorite of Python,
Mm-hmm.
all the Python scripts. Um, I also saw the advantage of having memory all the time. Um, what also is really um, really astonishing, as long as you use Composer 2.5, you can work all day with your $20 or €20 subscription.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you use it every day from morning 7 until midnight, you probably upgrade to the €60 per month.
Yeah. Yeah.
But with €60, you can work 24 hours a day for the whole month. The moment that you use Opus,
Hmm.
whoa, then it
Yeah.
goes because you have the auto and composer are separate, and Opus API is separate also, and it's all
Right.
included in the €20.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but so
That
it,
is true.
it it goes if you go to Opus, and to be honest, I tried a few things with Opus 4.7,
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't make a lot of difference.
Hmm. Okay.
Um, so I think for Composer 2.5 is really powerful these days.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that. Yeah. I've observed that that matching the model to the task is really important because yeah, as you said,
Mhm.
a more powerful model with a task that it will already be successful with a less powerful model is yeah, you're not going to see a difference.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so yeah, I would say um, yeah, I yeah, I would say come down to the model that's appropriate to the to the task. Once you get
Mm.
go down one step further and it starts to struggle, pop it back up. Um, yeah, a lot of people try to approach it from the other direction. It's like, let me do this task with with Composer, and then it struggles, and then they say, okay, let me try Sonnet, let me try Opus.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I like to start from the top, know what's possible, and then optimize down.
Yeah, but that's good if you have to do
Hmm.
repeat work.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, then you can try to go down, down, down.
Hmm.
If it is a one-time thing, then it becomes more complicated.
Yeah.
But for example, I ask it to continue with that knowledge base for Jinaga
Hmm.
to make a plan. And then indeed, Opus gives a much more nuance in the plan than, for example,
Hmm.
the Composer 2.5.
Right. Yeah.
So there I made a plan with both, and also with ChatGPT out of cursor,
Hmm.
and then you see a lot of differences. But let me show you my
Yeah.
my small spreadsheet. Wait, yeah, so we're gonna make that a little bit smaller here because otherwise it's not gonna be readable. So up. So actually, the purpose was I want the name of the shop, the winkel name that's in Dutch,
Hmm.
the URL of the product, the brand, the model, the normal price, the promotion price, the noise level, the BTU is the power of cooling.
Hmm.
Um, it jumps away here. Yeah. Then yeah, the reviews,
Uh-huh.
whether it's still available or not, and what is the transport fee. Yeah.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
not available is this step, available is this step.
Hmm.
And so in the end, I got a lot of information is still missing. But so I ask it to sort it on first on price. No, first on power. So you see all the ones with 5,000 BTU here. Then
Yeah.
sort it on price, the actual price, and then sort it on is it cooling only or heating and cooling?
Got it. Yeah.
If it's heating, put it in red. If it's
Hmm.
cooling, put it in blue. And if you don't know, don't do anything.
Yeah.
And so in this way, I could immediately say, okay, I want to go to something with a little bit power. So immediately you go that side.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, it's about I don't know how many hundreds. See, the maximal is 18,000 BTU. But then you see 18,000 BTU. It's almost 1,000 euro.
Yeah.
So if you go for 14,000 BTU, then it's 500 euro, not 500 euro. So it's
Yeah.
not worth
Quite a
to
jump.
upgrade to 8,000. You better buy two models of 500 euros,
Yeah.
yeah, because the price doubles. And so you have, oh, that's one with a review, 4 reviews, 7.5 on 10. You
Mm.
can click immediately on the link to have the product page, and that makes comparison very easy.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
Um,
And then did you determine how many BTU are necessary for the size apartment they've got?
well, with these mobile air cons, it's never powerful enough.
Yeah. Okay.
um, and they already have an aircon for the room of my son, but so my daughter didn't have, and in the living room there is none. But so the 1,400 will do.
Okay.
Um, so
Okay.
yes, one day they will have to pay the electricity bill themselves, and
Yeah.
then they will say, okay,
Yeah.
it will be enough.
Yeah. Okay. And then yeah, at that price they could have one for each bedroom. Keep that room cool,
Well,
and then see
my
what
son
the
already
rest.
has one. He already
Okay.
has
Yeah.
one. Yes, he has too many computers.
Ah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but that's just the aircon. But the fact that now, because these are different shops, so every shop has its own website.
Mm-hmm.
There were websites which really, for example, bol.com, which is a little bit the Dutch version of Amazon,
Mm-hmm.
is very, very critical in scraping.
Mm, yeah.
So, so then you see you let Composer make a plan. You tell it think like a scientist, work out different possibilities, highest likeliness for success first,
Mm-hmm.
try. Then it gives errors. You tell it to debug. It's really a very nice exercise.
Nice, nice. Yeah, so you found success using Composer to put this together, as opposed to using ChatGPT. And so did you? And so you were talking about Python earlier. So did you have it create Python that scraped the website?
Absolutely, absolutely. Actually, I can. Oh, no, I already closed that one. No, wait, I can start it up again. Wait, it's on the other computer which I took with. Why can I not make it smaller here? The other computer which I with the screen with
Mm-hmm.
Hyperius here. Let me show you that one. So stop that. Stop the screaming and then start the screaming again. And that should be this one.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
there we go.
this is Jinaga. Where was Mobile Airco? Yeah, wait. I can restart cursor. Oh, start it for a second time.
Mm-hmm.
No, first I just tried it in the general public ChatGPT,
Yeah.
but then I say let's open cursor. Yeah, Mobile Airco, because that also allows me. First of all, I know the environment, and it allows me to have the editor for all the files.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so, for example, here, um, move that a little bit. So, yeah, I saved a few of the plans here. For
Mm-hmm.
example, for Bol, for MediaMart. Um,
Okay.
but so I started, in fact, by making a list of all the URLs.
Mm-hmm.
So I told him go to this different websites and give me a list of all the air conditionings, the URLs.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, sometimes air condition that are not real air conditioners, but just fans with some ice cubes
Oh.
behind it. But they are sold as air conditioners.
uh,
So already you have to make a filter to filter all of that out.
mm.
But so you see here the amount of Python scripts that it made.
Yeah. Wow.
And already that's a second session because I threw a few of it away.
Uh-huh.
And so I had, for example, here you
Yeah.
see
So a lot of them
Jason
are
with,
specific to Bull, and
yeah. Well, here you see a lot of these
mm-hmm.
URLs. That's all.com.
Okay. Yeah.
But then you have, that's the biggest shop. Come on. Oh yeah, you have MediaMarkt a lot. You have Van den Borre, LD, Krevel, Coolblue. These are all well-known shops here. But so I had hundreds of them.
Mm.
But then once you filter them, then I said, okay, now we are gonna scrape. No, we are download a snapshot of the pages because I had so much difficulty in accessing the website.
Uh-huh.
I say, if I want to try every time I have to wait. So what I did here was I asked it to make a structure, and I started at that moment with I think MediaMarkt, which gave me a lot of trouble. And so for each product, it gave me an HTML page.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the full page, which I will be scraping afterwards, and just a small
Okay.
JSON file with some metadata.
Yeah. So I'm curious how it accomplished that. One of the tools that I use for this sort of thing is the Playwright MCP server. Did you?
Yeah, it was For example,
Oh,
here,
actually, yeah, Cursor has a browser tool built in, so probably use the browser tool.
not always. The
Hmm.
problem is um, sometimes the internal browser caused the blocking while I
Hmm.
was scraping. So I think for Crayful, Van den Borre, four of them were no problem at all. It
Mm-hmm.
used internal browser tool. But for MediaMarkt, I had to start up the Edge browser manually,
Hmm.
and then it would in debug mode, and then it could
Okay.
make a link um, through the debug port to use that browser.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's probably doing it the hard way as far as the LLM is concerned. Yeah, it's going to happily just figure out a path and go down that path. It's good at tunneling. It's not good at scanning. Um, but
Well, I have been using Playwright,
mm-hmm.
which was at that moment that's um,
Oh,
the
okay.
learn dot the history. So initially Playwright was not installed, so I installed it, but Playwright was causing the blocking as well.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so
Okay. Yeah,
it,
I wonder what they're doing to prevent scraping.
mm, and but finally,
Yeah.
bolt.com was the most difficult one, and that one you can get about 40 scrapings one after another with 30 seconds
Hmm.
with a little bit variation, and then you have to wait a couple of hours, then you
Yeah.
can continue.
Wow.
But so yeah, but also what's also amazing, you see most of it here is in Dutch,
Mm-hmm.
but I have this bad habit of mixing Dutch and English, and to the AI it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah. So it
Uh,
looks like it picked up that habit.
yeah, even if in one phrase I can mix,
Uh
but
huh.
he still understands what I mean, and he answers either in Dutch, either in English. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I mean, I see the word failed, which I assume is different in Dutch, but yeah, it's right there in
yeah,
the middle of a sentence. It's in Dutch.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Failed is gefaald in Dutch, but so it's not identical.
Yeah.
But so
Yeah.
you see, for
Tonen
example, here,
failed. URLs were.
yeah, for eventuele retry. Retry is also English.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's a bad habit. But my wife is a Chinese from Malaysia,
Oh, okay. So is
and
she mixing as well?
sometimes in our family and with the children, we live in France. We are Belgium.
Mm-hmm.
The children and me. My wife is Chinese from Malaysian. So sometimes in one phrase there is Chinese, there is Malaysian, there is Dutch, there is French, there is English, and
Yeah.
especially the Chinese because my wife and the children they are speaking Chinese with each other.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Chinese in general, if they don't know the word in Chinese, they will switch automatically to English.
Hmm.
And I don't speak Chinese, so
Oh wow.
but then I pick up a word in English. I say, "Oh, what's happening?" But
Hmm.
so here you see the snapshots. That was a Python script. Um, then start Edge with the debug port
Mm-hmm.
and download the snapshots. What was that? Extract the air conditioning from it. And there was still requirements to load additional Python software, I think. But okay, I only saved a few plans. So bolt.com was via this Edge debugging,
Mm-hmm.
but it was amazing. It was a very nice, and there you see you have to really limit it in what it does, but you don't really need to understand 100% what it does.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and even
Exactly.
you can ask it questions.
Mm-hmm.
And now I did what you said, just put it on run always, because after a while, clicking run, 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 so it
Yeah.
doesn't matter on that laptop. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
but that,
If your environment's locked down,
mm,
then yeah, you can have more confidence in that.
but so you see, I still have a lot left there.
Mm,
You see on
nice.
Auto Plus Composer, I only used 12%, and the API which I used just Opus a little bit
Oh wow, that's already
is
eating up
already on
half that. Yeah.
51%. So I mean, I can still work for a long time.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think end of the month it's resetting though. So
Yeah. Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's go back um, to Jinaga. Hmm? So
Yes. Yeah. So you were doing
so
similar kind of scraping off of YouTube.
yeah. So the result is this. Why is it not?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't want to. It doesn't want to enlarge my column here.
Hmm.
Oh yes,
Okay.
it
Yeah.
will.
So you've gone all the way back to
Yeah.
some of the
What is
videos.
historical
Yeah.
modeling? The very first one.
Mm-hmm.
How not to destroy data. That was a very nice presentation from you.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one.
Oh yeah. For example, this one has nothing to do there.
No. Yeah.
That just yeah.
Yeah. I was on a road trip and I
Mm,
said, hey, I want to come by the office, and they said, okay, let's
mm,
try this thing.
mm,
And yeah, secret is they made up a
mm.
bunch of questions and then they put up they asked me anything and didn't receive any questions over the air, so we basically pretended that the questions that they'd made up in the first place came in.
So the last of the one but last one I think was AI at team scale, number 270.
Hmm.
So these are the full videos. So
Yeah.
that's for how much?
Yeah, I think that is right up to 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, where's the properties here? It's only 129 gigabyte. That's still okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's still.
Nicely
But
compressed.
so, but so that was how far I got with this. That's not far, but so now all the information I have it.
Yeah.
Then I asked. This was the plan from Opus, who saw the plan from. Uh, what was the? Yeah, this is the Opus one. So I asked it to make a plan for how to proceed with Composer.
Hmm.
So it gave me, with all the data that I have, it gave me different approaches. First, expand just the cursor skill with the advantages, disadvantages, cursor rules, plus a small skill. The add doc, use that for the
Hmm.
books
Yeah.
probably. Um, just a markdown knowledge base, then a retrieval augmented generation in a vector database, video heavy pipelines based on transcript and OCR.
Hmm.
Start with the PDFs, interactive distillation,
Oh.
or
Hmm.
really fine tune the model. So there are a lot of approaches.
Uh-huh. Yeah, hmm. That approach number 8, that's going to, well, approach 9, that's the most expensive one, but um,
Yeah.
yeah, approach 8, that does sound like that could be a really valuable, um, but yeah, really really deep investigation. Um, yeah, hmm, I'm kind of intrigued by that. the fine-tuned custom model, that's something that I had been thinking about, because the general models have a bit too much of everybody else's thinking, everybody
Hmm.
else's way of solving these problems, and so when I ask a general purpose model to to solve a problem using historical modeling, um, it's it can index into historical modeling and then say, oh, you really want me to do a predecessor thing here, and then it it spits out something that's got immutable field in it, and I'm like, wait a minute, no, that's supposed to be immutable. So, oh yeah, you're right. So it's thinking relational, it's thinking object oriented, um, and then trying to bring in parts of historical to fit with it. And it's like, nope, you have to ignore all of that and focus just on this. Solve the problem only with these constraints.
But apparently, um, it shouldn't be too difficult, or it should be possible. Let's
Mm-hmm.
put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps it's very difficult, but it should be possible to make from open source your own model, which you
Mm-hmm.
really start training with only Jinaga.
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
And apparently that only needs a relatively small model, which can just run locally on
Mm-hmm.
a decent computer, and that should give very nice results, although it's just a small model.
Yeah, yeah, I would absolutely love to have that. Yeah, just be able to ship that so people can just use that model and the um, and an MCP that's just running locally, and then yeah, they'd be able to to build and run applications on the airplane without. I mean, you can get Wi-Fi on an airplane now. I think some are even offering it as part of the ticket price. Um, so for free,
But,
as
but then
far as free
then
is.
do you still need MCP at that moment because all the knowledge is intrinsic in the model?
I think, yeah, yeah. The MCP then would be able to allow it to act. Um, if you had just a model, you'd be able to chat with it, and it would be able to
Mhm.
tell you a solution. Um, but um, I would I've not yet seen good success with a local model inside of a coding harness generating um, yeah, yeah, decent quality code. Um, I've seen it work. I've seen it actually generate code. But yeah, it takes many iterations for it to pass the linter rules, pass the compiler, um, and then um, when you review it, it's if you give it a simple problem, it'll do it. But you give it something a little bit more complex, and it struggles. But I think we're getting there. Um, yeah, what I'm thinking about with MCP um, is rather than generating the code and compiling it and running it that way,
You have
use
a
the
database
MCP
with
to
code snippets.
yeah yeah have it produce the model and give it to that MCP to actually execute, and then have that MCP store the data, run the specifications, run the pipelines, the factual MCP that I'm building. Um, but yeah, yeah, I would really love that combination because I'm trying to tune factual MCP down to where it can run with Haiku, um, and
Mhm.
from there I can get it down further. Um, but yeah, I'm finding, just like we discussed last time, the parts that run the model can work in Haiku, but the parts that build the model still need Sonnet. So it needs
Yeah,
to reason through a few things. But yeah, with a custom trained model that gets to that answer in the first place, um, yeah, we might be able to build and run the model with a local, yeah, build and run the Janaga model and application with a local LLM. Um,
mhm.
yeah, that would be really nice.
Because it really needs to understand the concepts and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but so that was the plan made with Composer, and then I asked it to make a plan with Opus 4.7.
Mm-hmm.
Opus 4.7 was aware of the Composer plan.
Okay.
So
You gotta hit it. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
of course, yeah.
A boost. Yeah.
Um, and then it's okay. We have 7 expert capabilities: vocabulary and mental model, API recall,
Hmm.
procedure, how to, diagnostic skills, architecture, historical awareness, and source citation discipline.
Ooh, I love how I broke that down.
And then it says what learning can mean inside cursor. So I was explicitly saying I want a solution within cursor.
Yeah.
Let's
And
say,
so
okay,
those
this,
those 7
yeah,
approaches. Yeah.
yeah. For example, an external fine-tuned model is outside of cursor.
Yeah.
Yeah, but memories, yeah, we have them. MCP, RAG, repo files, docs, cursor rules, and skills are all available.
Mm-hmm.
And then what are the sources? Yeah, the website, the existing skill, the 2 books, about 270 videos, post book 2, pre book 1, and so on. The transcripts of the videos and the on-screen codes.
Mm-hmm.
And then how can we go for it? We can do, we have the acquisition stage. So the transcripts from the video, we can do text extraction on the PDFs, OCR on the videos, and crawl the website, the jinaga.net website.
Yeah.
Once we have all that extracted data, how are we going to use it? How are we going to make it useful? Either manual,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not the best
Yeah.
solution.
No.
Um, we can have agent assistant study sessions, uh, sub agents, book chapping, book chapter mapping to a topics file.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So not just an index, but really work
Uh-huh.
by topic.
Yeah.
Or we can just do indexing
Mm-hmm.
or an eval-driven distillation.
Mm, yeah. Okay.
But that was something you suggested me also a few times.
Yeah.
But in that case, for these evaluations, is it enough to let the AI generate questions, come up with questions and answers, and I just have to verify that they are the correct answers to the question?
That's a good start. And in fact, I think even as the process iterates, that's kind of your default step. Um, yeah. So when for example I use Cloud Code in order to create a skill that I want to use many times and ship to other people, then I'll say create an eval framework around this skill, and yeah, it begins with a pretty lengthy process. Probably takes about half an hour for it to finish this process, where it comes up with about 6 to 8 questions, test prompts using the skill, and then it runs those with and without the skill, and it by default runs them on Sonnet, not not Opus. And sometimes I try to say, okay, see if you can make that work on Haiku. Um, but yeah, it comes up with those prompts based on what it just learned about the skill that it created. So so that's kind of the first round, and then I find that the next round is in a fresh new session, use the skill and see where see what real problem I'm trying to solve that it falls short on, and then ask it to go back and review all of the things that it tried, and and document what trouble it ran into. So
Okay.
usually the trouble comes in when it's using the skill, it gets gets some information and it's got the task, and so it comes up with some plan, applies it, and it doesn't work for some reason, and now it's learned a little bit more, and then it reapplies that information with that new information and gets it right. So sometimes it iterates just once, sometimes 2 or 3 times. And then, so basically, if I had this information right at the beginning, I could have gotten it done the first try. So then I say, oh, okay, great, that's a perfect eval. So, so if I give you this prompt and you've got this skill available, then you should get this final answer and not the intermediate answer. And so then it adds that to the framework and runs it. And yeah, now that we've got a framework around the skill, then as we modify the skill, you say, okay, now update the skill so it's got this information. We can we can not just grow the skill, not just add new information, but also compress it. Also, take out misleading information, and that having that framework means that as we do that, we can find regressions.
Okay.
So just like with unit testing, like we're refactoring the skill, making it tighter, making it now make it work with haiku. Okay, now it's failing with haiku. I can do a little bit more. Okay, now it's passing with haiku. Okay, switch back to sonnet. Strangely enough, I found that switching back to sonnet doesn't always just work. It's like, oh, sonnet is overthinking it now. It's like, okay. So yeah, I think this is a great combination of things to put together. So I would definitely want an eval-driven distillation to start with. I would want that framework, and then try out the things that are most likely to work. So yeah, you can have, like, for example, if you get that framework in place and then you start agent-assisted study sessions, basically the orchestrator can periodically look at how the agents are doing and what changes they recommend to the skill, and then delegate to another agent to make those changes, and then run the eval. Check for regressions. Check to see if it's improved, or maybe even before then. These agents ran into a problem or learned something that they want to add to the skill. First of all, delegate to an agent that will update the evals, and then delegate to the agent that will run the test. So yeah, that could be combined with the agent-assisted study sessions. It can also be combined with RAG. It can be combined with the book chapter mapping. Because my default, my gut feeling is that RAG is not going to give you good results, because this isn't just look for information and then apply it. This is combine concepts that have been very deliberately broken down into these different chapters and built on top of each other in order to solve this problem.
So you really need to understand the concepts.
Yeah, and that's my gut feeling. I don't know if that's true because I don't have an eval framework around it. If I had the eval framework around it, then I could prove that. I could say, okay, given this RAG, here's a question. I want to model this domain. Come up with some alternatives, and then see what alternatives it comes up with, and say, okay, the alternative should include this one that I know to be the best.
We can try that out. So then it goes further. It says, okay, the storage. What was that? How to? It's a little bit what we had already. Existing skill, make a new skill, a repo, rules, reg, or an external module, and then retrieval.
And those, and I think we're seeing the same list because these decisions all feed on one another.
Yeah, it repeats a little bit itself. and then quality evaluations, an eval suite,
Mm-hmm.
a migration registry, or citation rules.
Yeah, it says 30 to 50 prompts. Wow.
Mhm.
I haven't made a suite that big yet.
Let me
Yeah, I think
see.
with my factual
Yeah.
MCP, I've got maybe 10. Yeah.
Okay. And so which approach for which capability? And then it says recommended balanced rollouts. Phase 0 foundation. So add Jinaga website to the add docs. Then alter rules. Temp evaluation with temp prompts.
Okay,
And
good.
then partial C1 vocabulary, API, and citations.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, start with the evaluations. That's phase 0. I love it.
And so it makes a whole plan, and then even the evolution. Want to skip, choose your scope. You want it to be just a weekend effort. You want multi-weeks, or
Uh-huh.
you want to make it a lifetime work.
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
And this is funny. Often when I see it give estimates, it's estimates on writing code. And it's like, oh, this is going to take 1 to 2 weeks. No, it's not. Go. All right, 15 minutes later, done. So yeah, it was 1 to 2 weeks of a person doing it. You just knocked it out. Um, but yeah, this looks realistic, um, because uh, there is so much churn that's going to have to happen. Um, so much testing that's going to have to go on. So yeah, I think you are in for an expensive project. I think
yeah.
just to run the evals is going to take an API key. The harnesses, except for Cloud Code, the harnesses are not really set up to run evals, and Cloud Code specifically evals around skills or custom MCPs. I've used it with you use fast MCP in order to create an MCP server, and then you can create an eval framework around that MCP. Um, but yeah, for the factual MCP, I'm using an API key for that one, so that excuse me, I can make it an actual part of the CI/CD process. It doesn't run every time, but I can go up to GitHub and say, run those evals. And so, okay, I got your token. I'll see you, $15 later.
Yeah, but if that works,
Mm-hmm.
that would be nice. I'm gonna try things out and learn a little bit further, because it would really be nice
Mm-hmm.
to have some good guidance on Jinaga. Because
Yeah.
I see the capabilities of AI. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like with the Excel, the speed with which it can make these Python scripts, which are almost without errors.
Mm-hmm.
And if it finds bugs, it adapts itself.
Yeah.
If you have to do that manually, that's a month of work.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. The problem that I'm working through at my client is it's a I would not be able to do this if this was last year. If I didn't have the quality of tools that we currently have. So we built a a, uh, a data warehouse, and it's it's your typical you know, uh, using the traditional patterns and techniques data warehouse. So it's extract, transform, load, set based operations, all that stuff. And then started to started to truly exercise it against the system. This is a microservices system, so all these different microservices, and then they're all feeding their data into the data warehouse. Now, typical ETL would be go into that database, extract a batch of data, and now you can transform it. You can load it into the data warehouse. But that's too slow. That's batch processing. It's like, oh, can we set this schedule to be once a day? Nope. How about twice a day? Can we do that? No, we need to be able to see the data 15 minutes after the job finishes running. And it's like, wow, okay. ETL. So I basically went through 3 different architectural iterations. So the first 2 were basically try to make ETL fast enough. Try to make this work in smaller batches, and they just did not work. And so the third one was basically, all right, let's create a historical model of the entire system, all the different microservices, how they all interact. They aren't actually using a historical model themselves. They are not actually using Janaga or any kind of immutable runtime to talk to each other. It's all event driven. However, you can understand the problem with facts, and then when I created those facts, I found that it didn't quite match your intuition. It's not the way that you would have designed this if you were to start with a historical model. I had to kind of discover the facts from all the exhaust that they were giving out. And I say, that's not the way I would have done it, but that's what we've got to work with. And then turn those facts into, so map those facts to tables, but not quite the way that's described in the book. In the book, I turn a fact into a table, and it's an insert. You have an immutable database at the end. And the first chapter of the book says when not to use historical modeling when creating a data or creating reports or a data warehouse. It's like, that's not what it's for. It's like, okay, so that, of course, I didn't use historical modeling when I first started, but this is what they need, and so I ended up here. But yeah, just inserting immutable rows doesn't give you quite the shape of the data that you need in order to run reports and to aggregate. And so each fact turns into either an insert or an update on a row that its predecessor inserted. And so with that pair of rules, then I was able to, first of all, prove that you could process these messages in any order, because each message gave you a graph of facts that then merged with the existing graph. And then each fact that it processed ended up with an insert followed by an update if it was building that graph, or it looks up the existing one and then it updates that existing one, and so it fills out the database. And then the thing that just really unlocked it was taking the ideas from Cascade. So Cascade builds a pipeline based on the output of a specification. So, specification invert, this new fact arrives, then the inverse says this is how the results of the specification are changed based on this new fact. And then Cascade says, here comes a change, let me bounce it around through these group bys and these sums and all these aggregate functions, and then the output will be a set of changes to some output results, which do allow updates because Cascade produces a mutable aggregate view. That's the idea of incremental view maintenance. So that's the math paper that I found just a few months ago that had been written less than a year ago. And so basically, I implemented incremental view maintenance by kind of reversing and then manually coding that process. So, got a script, when I see this new fact, I need to insert if not exists, and then I need to update this, and then now we're getting into the incremental view maintenance. Look to see if because I just had an effect, I just updated something or I just inserted something. Now look at the summary table, see if that row exists. If so, lock it for update. Check to see if it's got the right values in it. Default those to 0, and now increment. So yeah, I learned about this fact that says, this document was printed, right? And then, here's my total of all documents that have all these properties. And then, oh, that row doesn't exist. Started off with a 0, and now increment it. Now you've got 1. And so, yeah, now every message that comes through is able to update the fact tables and update the aggregate tables. And it is fast. It works. It solves the problem, but it is not a data warehouse anymore. This is something entirely different. This is a transactional database over all the information in a microservices system. So we built microservices so that we could be isolated, and now it's all together, and we're pre-calculating things so that we can do it in real time. Man,
it's a little challenge.
Yeah. Yeah, and I wish that I had recognized the requirements that they were asking for right at the beginning. And I would say, wait a minute, you can't get a data warehouse to do what you're asking for. So I need to rethink this. Instead, I said, well, I'm good at this. Let me create a data warehouse for you, and then I'll try to optimize it to get it there. And for the longest time, it was keeping up. And then we got more things working, and then it was just inundated with data. And it's like, oh, okay. It got to the point where it was 24 hours behind, just trying to capture things in real time. And say, well, this would have been faster to be a batch operation, though. But yeah, and what I really wish is that that I could use the Janaga aggregator, but that doesn't even exist yet. Because basically, Janaga aggregator is, if you take a replicator, you feed in the facts, and then the aggregator subscribes, and it runs those pipelines, and then it keeps those output snapshots, and then you can query it directly, like a relational database, or actually hook it into a relational database, and then it will just do the insert, update, delete against that relational database and say, okay, go ahead and query that one. But yeah, meanwhile, it's just running those pipelines, all based on a small set of facts, actions, specifications, and pipelines. But that doesn't quite exist yet.
It will.
Yeah.
It will soon.
Yes, it will. Cool. Okay. Yeah. So, we've got the beginnings of a knowledge base. Now it's time to figure out the process of building it.
Yeah. We have all the information, but now how to combine that information?
Yeah. Yeah. So it might make sense to start small, to take a few curated videos and transcripts, and and then based on a question that you're trying to answer, can you answer that question with those videos and transcripts? So one example, this is probably not the best example to start with, but one example that comes to mind is the several videos that we did on feeds. It's probably not the best example to start with because only somebody who is actually implementing an immutable runtime or trying to debug one is really going to care about that. I'm working really hard to make it transparent to the developer and, frankly, to the LLM that's that's creating the code, it shouldn't even think about feeds. Um, yeah, if you start with that set of transcripts and videos, and then you create an evaluation framework that includes questions about feeds. You can start with questions that are directly answered within the episode, but then start to compose them. Start to come up with, if you know this and you know that, now you can synthesize a new idea, and you can solve this problem by recognizing that, oh, this applies and that applies, and they can be combined. The Maslow's hierarchy. That's probably a good start to how to frame these things. So with Maslow's hierarchy, at the lowest level, it's recall, and that's really what RAG is good at. If if I ask a question about a historical fact, and I've got a history book in front of me, then I can find that fact and tell you. So that's kind of the recall. But then you get to the level of understanding, and so now it's not just that you can remember that a thing is true, but it's also that that you understand what that means. You can kind of put that into context. Yeah. And then you've got the apply level, where now you can solve a problem using the understanding of all of these facts. And then you get up to, I'm skipping a few levels here, but then you get up to being able to synthesize new information based on all of the things that you can do with this. So yeah, maybe a good approach is to first start to see if you can build something that can recall. And RAG is going to do just fine for that. But then build something that can understand. And that's where RAG's going to suffer. And maybe that will drive you toward the chapter-based solution. Or maybe the agent study sessions will be able to build that understanding.
Chapter-based solution with topics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I designed the topics in the chapters in the book based on the problems that you're going to try to solve. So there's a chapter on SQL databases because, okay, I'm going to solve a bunch of SQL-related problems. I can now pick up all of these pieces of information that were earlier in the book, and now I can combine them, take my understanding of them, and then, given this problem, which ones apply, and then take those, put them together, and generate a solution.
But if you use RAG with a vector database, vector database it's not just indexing; it's really finding words which are close together, which have a similar meaning.
Yeah.
So automatically you get to topics at that moment.
I think, and of course, an evaluation framework is there to prove what I'm about to say. But I think that that RAG is not sufficient for the application level. It's good for the retrieval level. I mean, it's called retrieval, so recall. So based on what you're asking, it's going to be able to find things that are similar to what you're saying. What is the capital of France? Well, that's that information is somewhere in there, and capital and France are inputs, and it's going to find some fact in there that says Paris is the capital of France, and in that case, it's exact words. But even if you didn't use those exact words, it would find that fact. It would retrieve that and now load that into context. And so the retrieval doesn't have the mechanism to understand, or certainly not to apply. You're relying upon the LLM after the information's been retrieved to start to apply it. The challenge is that when given a problem, the retrieval isn't automatic. The vectors that are necessary to retrieve are not in the definition of the statement of the problem.
Okay. So the LLM should already be able to find synonyms, to find concepts related around it, to retrieve all the information.
Yeah.
Look, I will see what we can do about that.
Yeah.
Another challenge.
Yeah, I'm coming up with all sorts of mathematical examples. I don't know if they make any, if they help out any, but like if I were to, give it the problem of let's verify that this, this security mechanism is safe, and it's based on prime numbers. So let's verify RSA. So there's the problem. I mean, that's a really hard problem to just give it. But somewhere in its data is Fermat's little theorem. And so that's a theorem about raising bases to certain powers and what the what that result is going to be in a modulus. And it's got primes in it, but it's not really a theorem about primes. And yet, in order to prove that RSA is safe, up to the ability to factor a large composite number or product of two primes, you have to use Fermat's little theorem. But there's nothing in the problem statement that says, "Hey, look up Fermat's little theorem and load it into context."
Okay.
Hey, good to see you, Rajesh. We are actually just about wrapping up, so sorry that timing worked out that way.
But we see each other next week again.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, so will you be able to join us next week?
Yeah, I will try, for sure.
Excellent. Yeah, and can you, just real quick, how did you find the channel, and what are you really interested in learning and talking about?
No, I just was looking. I mean, I'm not a regular user.
Mm-hmm.
Come to Discord once in a while, just saw some notification, and I was looking at, what's this icon? Let me check out a book club, and that's how I just came in.
Oh, excellent. Well, welcome. Yeah, so I'm the author of The Art of Immutable Architecture. So that is the book that we started studying. The second edition is now probably 2 years old. Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
2024.
Yeah. So what we're doing at this point is basically using the ideas from that book in order to build systems. So applications, MCP servers, immutable runtimes, and so a lot of our conversations end up being about AI, like most things are. So.
Yeah, and maybe I think I do then remember watching something on the YouTube, and that's like, I need to join this channel, but then I'm on Pacific Coast, so sometimes the timing doesn't work out. Like it's early day, my day starts, and the work starts. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So would you be able to join just 1 hour earlier?
Yeah, I can. I
Okay.
definitely can.
Okay. Good. Because that's the time that we start.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. I'm looking forward to hearing what you've got going on, and it's great to meet you.
Yeah. You as well. Yeah.
All right, but unfortunately we do need to sign off now. So thanks, Jan, for going through the mechanisms that you've been using to scrape websites, to scrape YouTube, to gather all this information. Yeah. Yeah. Now the hard work begins.
Yeah.
Okay. We will see these results next week. So you'll just hope you are there.
Yeah, definitely. I will try that. Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent.
Okay,
So yeah,
Michael.
yeah. Bye,
See
Michael.
you.
Thank you. Yeah.
See you next week.
Yeah.
You're
See you
just.
then.
See you next week. Bye bye.
Bye.